I discovered some records. I said, "What kind of records are these?" Yeah, they were mixed already. I said, and the other DJ was in the small club. They had two clubs. It was upstairs was a big floor, and then the small floor they had also record collection. They had these copies like I said, "What the fuck is this?" They have disco nets, disco. The ones who know they know disco net. So I would say, "Whoa, what the fuck is this?" Yeah, they are mixed already. Bobby DJ Gutadoro and Valapucci and who else? And a lot of guys mixed. The volume 1, volume 2 was at that time. Said, "Oh, I need these two." So and I said, I found out where to write, and then there was a telephone number. I think somewhere was a telephone number. Yes, there was a telephone number on the backside. There was telephone numbers. Yeah, and so I said, "Oh, I called New York." I said, "Mama, I need to call in New York City." I said, "Okay." So I called, and there was on the phone was Mike Wilkinson. Say, "Hey, what do you want?" Hey, I said, "I'm a DJ from Germany. I like to subscription. How do we can do this?" Yeah, you need to pay 1,500 or 1,200 German marks, and then we send you the record. I say, "Okay." I make a bank transfer, send me everything. What I wrote down the transfer number, and I said. I sent this. It was a lot of money, because the shipping was very expensive for DiscoNet. So I was one of the first subscribers of DiscoNet in 1980. So then I got my first record. What I got, the first one I got was this. I don't know if you can see this. This was the first one I got. The Volume 3, Program 7. It was Patrick Corney Megamix from Donna Summer.
Legendary.
This was my first copy when I received the two from my subscription, and I said, "What the fuck?" So then I changed in 1980, and it was 1981, I think. The subscription from DiscoNet. So then I started playing in 1981. I started playing in this big club, the Trinity, when I was 17. And yes, I played. I was one of the only one who had this Donna Summer, and it was, it was like when you played this, the people were, they were waiting all the time until you played the Donna Summer. This was in the evening the biggest thing of the night. So and then I discovered how to intro it, and I just I was always working with intros, with effects like whatever. I used. Racing cars and trains running through the records, and I discovered Also sprach Zarathustra from Richard Strauss. Bum bum bum. So I played this as the intro for I Feel Love, and then it was crazy. And the funny thing about this record was, I played this. I think I played there six weeks. Since I started, and then there was a guy came in. Hey, I can't just get this record nowhere. I said yes, because this is there are only 500 copies in the world. I said, "Hey, I want to have this." I said, "Okay, you can buy it for 1,000 marks if you want." I said, "What's 1,000 marks?"
I almost spit my coffee out when you said that. I was like, $900. You can have it for $900.
Yes. So okay. Next weekend when I come, I give you the money. So next week after, next Saturday, he came to the club and gave me, there was still a 1,000 German mark bill. He gave me the 1,000 mark. And I gave him. Yeah. You have now your record. So Monday around 6-7 o'clock, I called New York City DiscoNet. "Hello, this is Jens Lissat from Germany. My copy from I Feel Love is broken. Can you send me a new one?"
I broke it with a disco pack. Look at this guy. Look at Jens. Look at Jens, how he looked. Yes. How cute he looked back.
You see. Look. You see on top. The very right record on top. This is the Donna Summer disco that I Feel Mega Love. You can see. Yes.
Everybody look. Take a good look, everybody.
Yeah.
History right there from the Studio 54 Trinity nightclub.
Yes. Yeah, Trinity. Yeah. So they sent me a new copy. So there was
you were 1,000 marks richer that night.
This was crazy. It was the highest record I ever.
I thought you were going to tell me something like, well, not only did I sell the guy the record, But then he went and pressed it and created all the bootlegs around Europe with it. I was like, oh, I was going to say, wow. Okay,
yes,
good.
There were a lot of bootlegs, around.
I remember there was a lot of bootlegs of that Patrick Cali, Menergy, Nick.
There was, my friends, Carsten and Stefan, they're from Hamburg. They made a bootleg series. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They made a bootleg. They were called CS. You know CS?
I don't remember that.
CS bootlegs. I don't know. Do I have something here? I have
some?
They made us this series where I have it in the other room. I can, if you want to. Wait. One second. I'll show you.
So remember now. Let's go back. Let's recap. So he gets his first gigs. And he tells everyone he's 18, and we all did that back then. We all said we were a lot older than we were, including me. I took my cousin's license.
No, I have. They were looking like this.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
And this is also I Feel Mega Love. They did all these CS pressing because CS was for Carsten and Stefan. Carsten and
Stefan.
Yeah, and then what I did with them, we made this. We made a Disconnect bootleg with Marlena Shaw, Touch Me in the Morning. Yeah.
Oh God.
We made a lot of strange things, and after that we changed it to this because it was not so cool to copy this.
You know what that looks like? That looks like the ZYX pressings.
Like
ZYX back in the day.
Yes.
But yes, this is a question I have for you. You talk about you're doing the phase shifting with the turntables, and you're learning how to do the double beating and the one beats behind the echo effect and stuff. There was nobody around you that was doing anything like this?
No, nobody. Because, we only had the American DJs who played at the Trinity, who showed us mixing, because but there was one DJ in Germany. He paid a lot of money for, the female DJ. What I told you about, this Sharon Lee.
Does anybody know Sharon Lee? Can someone please find her?
Yeah, New York DJ and Sharon Lee.
I never heard this Sharon Lee lady. Does anybody knows this lady? She played in Paris.
Just ask around.
You know what's even crazy? When we all started coming over to play, traveling as house DJs, we were always wondering who was some of the disco DJs, because to tell you the truth, there was nobody around to ask. There was nobody around. You had the ones like Jelly Bean, of course, but they were playing at their clubs in New York. You didn't hear about them traveling across the ocean to play yet, like it is now. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there were, for example, that in Frankfurt they had a club called the Dorian Gray, which was the base for the U.S. soldiers. This was the zone of the U.S. military after the Second World War. And they had also in the Frankfurt some black clubs where maybe they mixed, but I was so as far as I know, the first German mixing DJ was, before I discovered mixing, this guy was called Peter Römer. He was famous. He learned from Sharon Lee. He paid her that she taught him mixing, and then he was really good in mixing. He was a friend of mine in the about 1980s, not a close friend, but he was a resident DJ before I started playing in the Trinity, and he changed then to Spain.
Was Sharon Lee black or white?
Who? Sharon Lee?
She was black?
Blonde. She was a blonde white girl.
Who the hell is Sharon Lee? Because at the time,
I have photos on.
At the time when you're talking, okay. Richie Kazar was there, Nicky Ciano, then Kenny Carpenter took over in 1980. There was Robbie Leslie. There was Roy Thode. I never heard of this female. Sharon White. Never heard of this female DJ.
So maybe it was just a promotion gig for opening the club, but she could mix. But I heard tapes from her where she made the overlays, but for me she was not very good at mixing. She blended the records one to the other and back and forth. She was playing with 2 copies of some tracks, but the mixes, you know, I've heard mixing, you know, after when I heard, you know, also when I heard David Be Gone, I can't remember because it was my first night in 1979. When the DJ I get to know at first was Charles McRae, my friend, also from New York. He's very old now. He's about 60, 70 now. But he can tell you stories about the Trinity because maybe he's living around your area. You know, we will find it out.
We'll find him.
Well,
but it's good. I need you to know, you know, it's good because I want to get the history out of this Hamburg thing because this is new to me. This is like fresh information. I'm like, wow. First of all, the names of the DJs you're mentioning, I'm going.
Yes, you should have seen the club. You know, the club is
one thing. I know Richard did it. I know Richard's work was always sensational, even when he did clubs that were not just Paradise Garage. He did many clubs.
I wish I would have seen the garage, you know. The only thing I've ever seen the location of the Studio 54 I saw when I was at the New Music Seminar in 19. You know what year was Crystal Waters homeless?
88.
88. And
New Music Seminar, right? New Music Seminar.
I was this year. I was in New York for the New Music Seminar, and that night the Studio 54 opened for one night. I think it was only open for one night, and Crystal Waters was on stage. I remember that, and we went there. You know, my partner. You know, you have the photo from the studio, the one with you have the photo. That's the studio.
Let me go to the photos. You the one in the studio?
The one in the studio, yeah, with the 2 guys. You know, this is my ex-partner. He's not living. He's dead. But
you mean this photo?
This is Peter Harder, and this is my partner. Where he taught me to produce. And in the back it's me, and we have this this Atari ST 1040 computer.
1040 ST computer.
Yes, with a notator program.
It was the best. It was the best, Jans. It was the best.
Yeah, and when you did,
let me show you. Look at Jans with this. Look how cool.
And the TR-909.
Look at him. He's got the cigarette. He's got the computer. He have to. Wait.
You saw your synthesizer. You know the synth?
Oh yeah, I know the synth DX7. I can sniff it right out. Are you kidding?
DX7. And in the back, it was the sampler, the Casio sampler, which could sample 1 second.
What was that? Is that the FZ10M, if I remember correctly?
I don't know. I can't remember the name. It was
the Casio black. I had one. Oh my god! We were like, oh wow, we got a Casio sampler, everybody.
Whoa, yeah.
1 second. And then you had to clean up the samples and truncate them down to make more room for the other thing. Oh, crazy.
Crazy times. So where
so you were at New Music Seminar, you went to Studio 54.
Yeah, right. I saw the location, you know.
But let me just clarify. Let me clarify to everybody. When he went there, I've just started playing at that time at Studio. They took the original Richard system was out. What you heard
wasn't it that it was only open for one night?
Yeah, but we were doing at that time, 1988. They brought in Larry Levan on the Thursday night garage night. They brought Louis Vega and Freddie Bastone. I was playing Bear Jones, but we had the Claire. God bless it. We had the horrible Claire Brothers sound system. The Richard Long system was already gone. So you heard it was like, oh, you just saw the room, and the room was ripped apart already.
Yeah, very crazy. It was so big. It was really
big room. It was big. It's a big club.
You know, so it was crazy. Yeah. And I was hey, well, this is a Studio 54. Like, it was not like the, you know, even at that time, you know, I didn't see any photos of the Studio 54 because 88. From the press, there was nothing. You know, we had no internet, nothing. You know, we had no newspapers. We had not even there was no book like about the 54. So I didn't know how the Studio 54 was looking like in 88 when I entered there. I never saw a photo before.
So let's stay on the lesson here. Let me just put this up too, because we're on 87, 88. Look what he gets for the best mixed DJ in Hamburg, 1987. Yes. Oh. The hands of Holy Final, the hands of the best ever.
I was also in 1970 and 1988. I was the vice champion of Disco Mix Club. You know, I was champion scratcher.
Was that Tony King's thing, the DMC? That's Tony.
Tony Prince.
Tony Prince. Tony. I had you. Tony.
Yeah. But we have been missing some years. So
go back. Take us back.
Was, so back to the disco thing. So when it was 1979 at the end of the year, and I discovered, I was making my mixtapes, and I discovered the tape deck, the pause button. I said, "Oh wow, this is cool," because I was doing my mix, and I was recording, 30 minutes of the 60 minutes cassette, and the mix had a mistake, So the beats were not the mix was shit. So I said, "Wow, okay." So then I have to start from all over again. I said, "Okay." Then I rewinded it, and I said, "Hey, maybe it's cool if I can stop it and start at the point, where the mix was shit." So
we all did that too, everybody. Everybody remembers having a
so that's how I discovered the pause button on the tape deck. And I said, and then I started doing it, and when I was done with the 30 minutes, I rewinded it back to the point where I said, "Hey, wow, that's cool. This is you can't hear nothing." It just was like it's. So this is where I said, "Oh, maybe I can cut or chop some other things." So this is how I discovered editing. So I didn't know anything about it. This is by incident, by myself. I discovered editing my own tapes. So pause button. So then I started doing my medleys. I took 10 of my favorite records. I recorded the breaks of the tracks, the best parts of the tracks, and make the pause 1, 2, 3, and then boom. And then 1, 2, 3, and then off again. The next one, the mix. So I did my own medley, so 10, 15 minutes long, and every week I did a new medley. Then I just said, okay, let's do some edits of the tracks which are existing. Take the break parts twice or 3 times out of the track, and then I have my own edits to play maybe sometime. I did. Then I met these guys, Carsten and Stefan. I told you, with the CS bootlegs. I said, "Hey, where do you do these bootlegs? I have medleys on my tape. I want to press my own medleys." I said, "Yeah, you can give us, the medleys. We can put some on our CES pressings." And I went to the cutting studio. They gave me the address from the cutting studio where they cut, where they do the masters. So, and then I did my, I discovered to do like this. This is my first acetate. I did it still smells really like an acetate. This is because this is something different. It's not a vinyl. This is I'm very proud of my first acetate. Yeah. So this is how I discovered editing. I did editings starting maybe at the end of 1979, and nobody, I don't know, my friend, one of my friends also started. I showed him how to do it, and he started also, and then other friends started to do these things. And then my friends Carsten and Stefan said, "Hey, we have a reel-to-reel now." I said, "What is a reel-to-reel?"
That's a big thing, because that's a sonic improvement. Whoa!
Yes, well, because you need
what is this reel-to-reel?
Come to my apartment. I'll show you what's going. And then there was maybe 1980. 81, I can't remember. I think it was 81. I said, "Wow." I said, "Wow, what?" And he said, "Hey, look how we can do. You can put this, and then you could lay it down, and then you mark it with and then you put it there, and then you make it you chop it, and then you take the next part and chop it again, and then you put them together again, and what's the name of it? The
editing tape.
The editing tape. And then editing tape, and then it sounds, you don't hear any beats. It's just tight. It's like, wow, what the fuck? I need this too.
I need this
too. So I bought a Revox.
I was thinking to get a Revox, because that's what was around in Europe at that time, the Revox.
Yeah, Revox, a PR99, and then I started doing editing tapes, bootlegs. I was the king of bootlegs, in the 80s. I think, I pressed 1,000 copies. I went with the bootlegs to, do I have some here? Yes.
Careful, Jens.
Careful,
Jens. People are still alive.
This Chico Chimes bootleg. Then I did
the good times.
Mega Tracks, the Real Master Mix. It's called the Real Master Mix. I did the Christmas special copy. I have tons of my own bootlegs, and then I did a copy, a series called Rare Classics. You know, the rare 12 inches, which are very low copies. I put 2 or 3 of rare copies on one pressing and on the B side, and so there's 4 or 6 tracks on the rare copies. So that's what I did, you know, and it was good money. I paid for one record, I paid 5 marks, and I sold it for 15.
You know, on this side of the world, there was a guy named George Bootlegger that was doing that as well.
Crazy, you know? Well, it was fun, you know, doing this. It was, you know, it was an adventure, you know, to see playing your own stuff in the club, you know, and because I couldn't produce. So that's before I produced my first thing. And then, by the way, I have a very nice one here. You know, but this is
Oh, Edwin Starr, okay. The Valpucci, I remember that. Yep.
But look at the serial number.
1.
This is number 1. This is the first copy which was released. You know, I'm really proud of that.
Should be.
So then in 1984, it was, you know, I changed the club. I was, you know, from Trinity, I went to a funk club where only black music was, called Third World in Hamburg. I played only the 81, 82 stuff from the Prelude and all these stuff, you know, like Denver Morgan, all these, what's coming on US import, you know, the new funky sound from the States. So disco was dead. No, it was not dead, but it was not anymore. They just started with Klein MBO, with Italo disco, or the beginning of High Energy maybe, and but it went to funky music. So the tempo was really slowing down. There were only things which disco was the Bobby Orlando stuff in the beginning, 81, 82, like Lime and whatever, Bobby O and Flirts and all these stuff. And the other thing in this club, there was only funky music, but I missed playing more energy music. So okay. I only stayed there maybe 3 months in this club. And then I went back to Trinity, 82. There was a time starting with Italo disco also. And we had this thing called the Neue Deutsche Welle, the new German, how do you say that, synthie pop area with Nena, 99 Red Balloons, and all this German neo stuff, synthesizer stuff, like Deutsch-Amerikanische Freundschaft, Der Mussolini, all these stuff, the synthesized.
Was Kraftwerk part of that too?
Yeah, Kraftwerk was before that. They started 77 or 75. They started, but this was something else. It was the new German wave with all these things, or Los Niños del Parque, which was very famous, one of the biggest tracks. From Italy, that came the electronics, Italo disco stuff. Mm-hmm. So I changed in 83 to a club called Zeppelin. And Zeppelin was a big room club. You know, they held 3,000 people. It was outside of Hamburg. It was a suburb. And it was new because they wanted that I also learned how to use the microphone. So they loved me because I was a mixer. The DJs they are only they're doing a microphone. Hey, now we have the new track from Howard Johnson here, blah 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 blah. The number. Oh, now we have Depeche Mode, and I said I was mixing. You know, so it was cool for them because they didn't know this, and it was 83, and they didn't know a mixing DJ, the residents. So I thought, okay, this is nice. So I learned how to use a microphone also. I was doing this only rarely, you know, because some records I introduced, but mostly I was mixing. That's why what was my thing. And one of the other DJs who came new into this disco where I was working, into the Zeppelin, he knew a German singer. He was called Mike Marin. Mike Marin is a Eurodance star, you know, from the 80s. And he said, hey, you know, I have a track here. Would you like to see a real studio? where you can remix a track officially. I said, oh, well, this sounds interesting. And so they invited me to the Star Studio in Hamburg. This was the studio. Do you know Modern Talking?
Yes, I do.
This is the studio where all the Modern Talking tracks were produced. And the engineer, or the Luis Rodriguez, he's the ghost producer of Modern Talking. But
No way. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a kind of secret. Well, you know,
our secret's no longer a secret now. That's why it's called stories.
So this Luis Rodriguez, you know, and then we had the the first time in my life I saw a mixing desk, you know, 24 track or 48, I don't know. I think it was a 48 track mixing deck, and I said, whoa, wow, many knobs. So I said, oh, many faders, and then they had the 24 wheel machine. And I said, yeah. So, and then he showed me, and look here, Jens, this is the kick drum, this is for the hi-hats, the snare drum, the vocals, the synthesizers, you know, every channel has a sound on it. I said, wow, this is interesting. So, and, you know, for me, it was the first time, and I had to experience a mix. You know, studio time was very expensive to hire studio time. And so I did what I could, you know. I said, hey, we have to strip. We have to use bass drums, bass sounds only, and then comes the synth, the sequence sounds, and then later you can put on the vocals. So I did this with my DJ friend. We did this mix, and it really became a big hit. You know, it was not into the charts, but it really sold a lot of copies. It was called "Dancing in the Dark" from Mike Marine, very famous copy. It was also played in the States. I saw yesterday somewhere in a disco group that they posted Mike Marine. And yeah, this was my first experience in studio in 1984. And then I did a second mix, and then I still kept on doing my bootlegs. And then in 1987, because of my bootlegs, you know, a record shop in Hamburg, they asked me, hey Jens, you know, we have Warner Records here, a label manager. He wants somebody for a Megamix. I said, oh yes, why not? You know, it's maybe a good thing because we know you and your bootlegs is good to work, and maybe it's interesting for them. So I went to VR, Warner Music, in Hamburg, and I said, hey, yeah, how can I help you? Yeah, we want to do a Phil Collins Megamix. I said, wow, Phil Collins. I said, that sounds good. Yeah, and we have a studio here, and you can go to the studio, and there you can cut the 3 tracks. It was Susudio, You Can't Hurry Love, and Don't Lose My Number. These were the 3 tracks, and I had to make some edits and cut them together into the Megamix, the Phil Collins Megamix. So I went to the studio, which is on the photo, to Peter Harder. I said, hey, I'm Jens, and they want me to do a Phil Collins Megamix. And yeah, he had the professional half-speed tape machines, not Wavox. He had the studio machines, Studer, I think. The big Studer, they had 2 Studer machines and a 24 track. He had everything there. So this was my first official mix, what I did in 1987. And then Peter, you know, he was like a jazz pianist, and he only made German music before we met me. And then when we were finished with the Phil Collins tracks, hey, are you interested? Maybe we can do some tracks together. Or I said, yeah, why not? And so I have a new system here called Creator from Langeling. It's a program where you can, you know, it's a program where you can put music in, and you must have to play everything. I said, yeah, okay, that's cool. So this was on the Atari computer, the sequencer program. So and then we start doing the first track. And the first track, what we did was, you know, there was house music, and the first track what we ever did was this one. It's called JMJ and Hardy, because me, I was Jackmaster J, Jackmaster Jens J, and Peter Hardy, and it was called Work the House Sound.
Now,
Yes.
I have a question. Did you get the artwork idea from the FFR?
International.
Yeah, I was going to say, from the release of Pete Tong's album, Chicago House Sound.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right, yeah. Can we take a 30-second break or 1 minute? I have to All right.
So the story is getting very, very interesting. Incredible, right? Jens he's got a lot of different hats. Check this out. Back 81, he's playing. Look at him in 1987 as a DJ. Look at him. He's finding the hip hop style with the big gold chain. Very cool. And of course, that studio, I think that's a Trident console. If I can see it, I think so. It's maybe an 80 desk. I'm not sure, but it looks like a Trident. Maybe I'm wrong. But it does look like a Trident, everybody. Still trying to find out.
Yes, I'm coming.
Who that Sharon Lee is.
All right. So.
Oh, wait, let me tell you what somebody put up. This is what came up. Sharon Lee is mentioned. Not sure if this is the one. She had blonde hair too. DJ TinaRegime.com. She talks about, she said it's about this Sharon Lee DJ. So people have been researching.
Well, I have a website, and there's a site online called trinity-hamburg.de. If you put on trinity-hamburg.de, there you find the website from the Trinity. You can see the light show of old photos, and there's photos from Sharon Lee. Also from me and from other DJs, from the club, from the system, from people from 1979. It's a lot of things you can see on this homepage.
Okay, so you were saying about the house now you start working on. Go ahead.
Yes, this was the first German house record, by the way. So in 1986, I went to New York City and with my friend, and I was on holiday there 4 days, and I bought a radio recorder with cassette function, and I turned I said, because I was also already DJing in 1985. Till 1987, I played one of the coolest clubs in Hamburg called Voila. It was the time where I discovered house music. This was later in the Königsburg in Krefeld, before that. So I discovered in 1986, I went to New York, and I was listening, I was tuning the radio, and suddenly, they're listening to 98.7 Kiss FM, Tony Humphrey's master mix. And I said, oh, wow, cool. It was cool music he's playing. And I recorded, the tape with the music. The next day, I went to Vinyl Mania. I was looking for a record shop, and the taxi driver took me to Vinyl Mania. So I went to Vinyl Mania. I said, I have a tape here. It was like recording. I have some tracks here. You don't need to play it to me. So you put this, all house music, and so I went with all my new house records to Germany. So I played house music for the first time in so the first one, J.M. Silk and all these stuff, and Jack Your Body and all this stuff, and also, which was not really house music yet, like visual. The music got me. It was very early. This was the starting of it.
But it's funny you say that visual record, because I've talked about this a few times where I really feel that is one of the first, if you want to say house records, because it really wasn't house.
Definitely. No, it wasn't.
But it sounds like a house record.
It was definitely for me. The name was not yet invented. Maybe I don't know if the warehouse was already open in Chicago. So this, by the way, Boy Jarvis, rest in peace, but he was a genius on playing the Moog, getting the dirty Moog sounds. Wow, I said boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's true. That's what you hear on that record. That's what you hear on it. The music's got me. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, crazy things. So, I bought this stuff and brought it back to Hamburg and started playing house music. And, as I told you then, 87, I wanted to do also house music. Peter in his studio, he had a Yamaha RX5 drum machine, which was really sounding shit. I said, what the fuck? This US pressings, the productions, they have a better sound. So I didn't know what it was, but it was just discovering synthesizers and everything. So I went in 1987 or 80. I can't remember the year, 87 or 88. It was somehow. I went to the UK, and I bought a 909 and in a secondhand store for £150. I bought a 303. I bought an SH101 and 3 synthesizers. I said, okay, that's cool. I know I have some equipment. Let's see what the stuff can. I checked. Then I came to the studio. I said, wow, this 303 is shit because no MIDI. We put it on the side. Does not work.
I don't mean to laugh, everybody. Sorry. I mean, everybody. He's saying the things that we all said when we all went. We're like, what is this thing? There's no MIDI. It's got no way of functioning. You're like, what are you supposed to do with this, right?
So it was shit.
So he put it to the side.
But what we did. We first sampled. From Tyree and from Fast Eddie. We sampled 1 second with a clap, bass line, and hi-hat loop from Turn Up the Bass. So we had a 1 second, a 1 bar loop of house music, and I didn't know what it was. So, but we had 909 on some. We had some of the first production. I'll show you this one. This was called the Beat Pirate. This was one of my pseudos, the Beat Pirate, and the track was called A Guy Called Bad. And there you can hear. I sampled the loop. It was not tight, It was like a boom, boom, it was not really tight.
But it's okay. It worked.
It sounded cool anyway. Yeah.
But wait, I want to say this to everybody. Around 87, 88, I went looking for that sound that he's talking about, that kick drum. And I went to my neighborhood musical store. I says, do you have a 909 drum machine? They says, what is that? That was already extinct already. I was finding out the 909. I said, I need the 909 kick. They didn't know what I was talking about. They said, well, let me show you this drum. This Alesis is Alesis drum. I says, no, that's not. I want the boom, boom, boom sound. So I know what he's talking. We were all trying to figure out what was the drum machine these people were using, because there was no Google. Hey, in Google, you go, what is the drum machine used in house music? There was no such thing. House music was still underground. It wasn't even cool.
Yes, exactly.
What is this music? Electronic stuff, right?
Yeah. And then I bought also a 808. And 808, I said, what the fuck? No MIDI shit. Machine. So put it on the side, start working.
I don't like this. This is garbage. This doesn't work.
And then I bought a 606 and I said, oh, it's also no MIDI. But and then I found out we could compare the 303 with the 606, and they worked together somehow, But this was later at the beginning of the 90s. Well, so then in the studio when I went with Peter Hanna, you don't know, maybe this in America. Then we produced songs, but nothing happened really. But I was happy to produce my own songs. So then we produced this track. It's called the Erdbeeren. Ich bin so wild nach deiner. It's German. It's a German text. A famous German actor called Klaus Kinski, very famous German actor, and it was famous because I sampled the loop from Los Niños from Liaison Dangereuse and put the vocals from Klaus Kinski, German text. Ich bin so wild nach deinem Erdbeeren on it, and it was our first German official chart hit. It went to number. It was I don't remember. It was maybe top 15. So we made a lot of money, And I remember that that time in the record companies, it was the EMI. This was record, and on Tuesday afternoon they had the telefax from the media control, which is responsible for the chart position for the next week.
Right.
And on Tuesday afternoon at 5-6 o'clock, we were in the studio always and waiting on the telephone ring from Cologne, because EMI was in Cologne and we were in Hamburg, and waiting, when is the telephone ringing? What is the chart position? And the first call came. You answer at number 8.
Did anybody hear the phone ring? Did anybody hear the phone ring? The phone's ringing. Quiet, everyone.
Yes, we are the kings.
Hello. Hello. Yes.
That was crazy.
Number 11.
Yes, and every week it went up and up. Yeah, till a certain point it went down again. But yeah, there were crazy things.
But that's a great. But that's a feeling. People have to understand. You got to realize you're coming from something that never existed in your mind to now you're in a studio. Well, wait, you become to play in a big club. You then learn how to edit. Then you work in the studio doing a mega mix. And then you're on to a point where you're getting a record that you go, oh my God, we're in the chart now, in the pop chart, not the dance chart.
No, this is and
beautiful.
No manipulated charts because they were really sales. The records had to be sales, and so the records, the chart system back then was like that. There was, I think it was 35% the sales, 35% of the airplays, and 35% of shops through Germany from north to south who was tipping their best tracks, the best-selling tracks. They made a list, handwritten.
Amazing.
And now I tell you a story now, which only few people know that.
Okay, right, quiet. Listen carefully, everyone.
Listen carefully. We had a guy in Germany. His name was Uli. I don't tell his last name, but Uli was an expert. Uli went to the big cities, small cities from north to south Germany, everywhere. He went all, because there were maybe at that time in the 70s, there were 1,000 stores in Germany. He went to most of them. And, because of all these shops, they had to, every week they had to send by fax to the media control, to the shop office, their top 10 or top 15. And Uli, he made it every week, because he went everybody there. He made these little presents, chocolate and whatever to these guys. He knows everybody in all the stores. But from these 1,000 stores, every week only 300 were counted. If the control office gets 1,000 top 10, only 300 of them were chosen, which are the highest. So what Uli made every week, he made his Uli's top 10, and he sent it by post with letters every week to 1,000 shops, to the managers of the shops with Uli's top 10. So he manipulated the charts in that way that if they see the Uli's top 10 and they have their sales and they say, maybe we take 1 or 2 or 3 from Uli's top 10 into our charts. And Uli had about, at that time, he had, when I got to know him in the end of the 80s, he had about 50 of his own tracks, not own track, but where he was a publisher. He got percentage on it, and this guy's a billionaire. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
That's called really manipulating the chart. He really controlled the chart. All from mailing out those charts. Because
mailing out by a letter. This is crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But this is history. It's nowadays it's different. But anyway, so let's come to the next point. What we did, So then. In 1990 it was. I was DJ. I changed. Meanwhile, I was playing not anymore in Hamburg. This is a story I need to tell. So, I was. I told you I was a vice champion in disco mix club scratching. So I went to DJ shows around Germany in the jury, and I did performances. Before they start their DJ contests. I was in a jury with Ben Liebrand. Sometimes, Ben Liebrand.
Ben Liebrand, another.
Several times in the jury, here in the River Rhine area. So Ben is a good friend of mine because we were sitting in the jury a lot of times. So, and I met this discotheque owner. He opened a very big club in Krefeld called the Königsburg. And I was, at the time in Hamburg in the Volar where I played 85 to 87. I was really one of the highest paid DJ. I had 500 German marks for a night, and the average money was 150 or 200 marks for a night. Or sometimes maybe 300 German marks was really high. But I got a lot of money because when I started in that club, the Voila, I saved this guy from bankruptcy. So the club was nearly dead, and in between 4 weeks, there were 500, 600, 700 people coming to the club every Friday, every Saturday, and he made a lot of money. That's why he paid me higher than the average one. So in 87, I went down to the Rhine area where I'm living now for a show, for a jury. And I got to know this guy Giovanni, and he said, "Hey, I'm building a big club. If you want to come down and have a look." And so once Tuesday evening, I went to a show in another city. On the way back to Hamburg, I stopped in Krefeld at this club, which was open 3 months already. So I walk in there. I say, "Hey, Jens, what do you do?" I say, "Yeah, I'm on my way back to Hamburg." "Yeah, you come on, want to play for us?" I say, "Oh, I only have my scratching records." "Well, you can use the records from the DJ here from our resident." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna play." I played 1 hour, and the next day when I was in Hamburg, he told me, "Hey, I want you as a DJ here." I said, "You only heard me 1 hour. I need to ask, maybe I can come as a guest DJ for one night." And guest DJing was not popular at the time. There was no guest DJing in '87, so you only had your resident club, and that was it. Or maybe you changed in one or two clubs in this town, but you didn't drive or fly to another place. So I one Saturday and in the next 2 weeks I went there, and I played the whole evening with house music, funk music, and I played Guns N' Roses in the peak time, for example. All these things, that was really crazy. And the guy called me and he said, I want you to DJ. I said, I'm gonna stay in Hamburg. He said, "What's your price?" I said, I told you I got 500 in Hamburg. So he asked me, "What's your price?" I said, "I want 1,500. He said, "What the fuck? You are crazy." And then he was stopping and saying, "I offer you 1,200. I was like, okay. I said, "No, I stay in Hamburg. I need 1,500. I leave my home city and everything, and blah 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 blah." And I said, "Okay." And I was like, "Not really." I was thinking, not really. And he said yes now to 1,500 German marks for a DJ and for one night. I said to him, "Well, wait. I have to call my boss. I can't say I'm yes now, and then I call you back." I called my boss. I said, "Hey, Carsten, and I have a job here offer." And he said, "Yeah, Jens, you made my club full. I'm really the happiest man now. And if you want to, you can stay Fridays here, and you can go Saturdays to 450 kilometers away." And
yeah, it's far enough. It doesn't hurt.
So I was the highest paid German DJ that time for 1,500 marks. The boss made that public. He called the press. He called all the press papers. He came, "Hey, the highest paid, the priest of the DJs, whatever, and this was." And then 3 months later, he wanted me also Fridays. So I quit Hamburg totally, and I made 3,000 German marks on the weekend. This was in '87. This was like
a lot of money. There's a lot of money back then.
A lot of money, yeah, a lot of money. If you see a monthly. Yeah, so then, this is what happened with me DJ side, DJ wise, and then still the production went on and on. In 1990 it came. So I did a track, played a piano, bam, 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 and I sampled. I Can Take the Heartbreak. I sampled Jocelyn Brown, The Power, and I put them together to I Can Take the Heartbreak and I Can Take the Power. And the result was this one, Offshore. I Can Take the Power, with remixes by Justin Strauss and Justin Strauss. So we signed it to Sony Germany. I got 15 white labels in 1990. So I went that summer. I went to Ibiza. I put 10 white labels in a record shop there in Ibiza. Nothing written on it. It was totally blank. White, both sides, no name, nothing on it. So then the summer was over, and there came the winter. And in winter, somebody called. I don't know how it came. I think the record company called. "Hey, Jens, did you make bootlegs of the track?" I said, "No, why? There are thousands of bootlegs in London around of your track." I say, "What? Really?" "Yes, they bootlegged the track, but nobody knows what it was, because there was a UK DJs who bought the track, and it was popular, and nobody know what it. So they bootlegged. They made 10,000 bootlegs, and then Sony UK discovered that they had the rights for Offshore, because Sony was
right. It's Sony, right? Yeah.
the German Sony gave the master to the UK Sony. It came out and it made 180,000 copies. You know, it was top 10 in the UK. And then they called us, the UK office, hey, you have to come to London. You have to perform at Top of the Pops. I said, what is Top of the Pops? Yeah, this is a famous show, you know, like you have in Germany, like whatever, you know, you have
The
also
chart show. Yeah, I was on it too. The chart show.
Yeah, the chart show. So we went there. We made, hey, we have to do rehearsal first. And then hey, you need a singer for that. Yeah, but this is a sample. Yeah, but you need a singer, you know. So
yes. Hold on a second. Did Sony clear the 2 samples?
No, there's nothing was happening. You know, even that time, you know, everybody was sampling. You know?
No. I'm saying is, did they clear the Justin Brown sample and the Lolita Holloway sample? I can't take that.
Nothing. It was, you know.
Oh my God.
It was Christine Wiltshire and Justin Brown.
I'm sorry, Christine Wiltshire, not Lolita. Christine.
Yeah. So I just put it together, and yes, we put it out. But the track, the piano line was really, really hooky. So there's a live video on YouTube. If you go to Offshore, I Can Take the Power, Top of the Pops. Yeah, you can see me on stage, you know, with my long hair and. And
wait, let's see if I got. Wait. I have some long hair pictures. I have this one, the best pirate there. Look, he's got the long hair, and he is in 1992. Look at his long hair.
Yes.
So there was a time when Jens felt that he needed to be the John Bon Jovi look. Yeah. And that was the John Bon Jovi look. Right, look again, everybody.
Yes. This was 1992, you know.
It was around that era. He doesn't have the exact pictures, but look, the beat pirate. Look at him, Jens.
Yes. This was Acid, you know. I also made the first, the second maybe, or whatever. I made a track called "Are You on 180?" I made it with a Prophet 5 in the Acid sounds because I didn't know how to use the 303. So I created this Acid sound with a Prophet 5. You know, wow.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we made it and signed it, and then made it. It was in the German charts as well, you know. And then I created the Beat Pirate. This is a pseudo for that. So this was funny thing. The Acid times, you know. And I tell you now a story about Acid House. Yo, now we coming something forbidden. You know, I made a big Acid party in the Königsberg in Frequentware, and I hired, you know, Colin Favor from the UK. Very famous DJ. He's already rest in peace, but I hired Colin Favor that night, and I said to there was a DJ also who was working in the club. He made the big gay events. He said, "Hey, me, yeah, you can get 1 liter of poppers." I said, "Yeah, it's okay. I can get that." And then I bought 1 liter, and we put those poppers into the fog machine on the party. So we made the Acid party with 1 liter poppers in the fog machine, and 2,000 people
going crazy. They don't even know why. They don't even know.
I see.
This is ska. This is ska.
Yeah, crazy. So this is Acid House music, and then we also learned how to use the 303 and all these things. Coming back now to this Offshore thing. So me and Peter were in the studio, and it was then the I Can Take the Power was out of the charts. I made a demo, you know. I recorded a piano track, a demo, put it on tape. I said, "Hey Peter, we sent this to Justin Brown's management and see maybe we can get her as a vocalist." And you know, she said, "Hey, you're crazy, you're Justin Brown." She said, "Well, it's not." And well, you know, let's try. You know, we can yes or no. So and we sent to the management the tape with a demo version. And then a few weeks later, we got a call from the UK. "Hey, Jocelyn heard your track, and she likes to do the vocals on your track." I said, "Whoa, what the fuck? Crazy Jocelyn."
What the F he says right up? What? Really?
You know, I was very fucking young. You know, I was so young. I was.
Well, because you gotta understand. Also, you know all the big records she sang on.
Yes.
In Deep, all those big hits that was disco records.
In a Life.
In a Life, I mean, in Alive, all those records
was very famous, and she was also doing on music, I think, and well, the things now, the management cleared things. I know she won first class flight and everything, hotel 5-star, blah 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 blah, and but it was that it was nice, And then she came, and I picked her up from the airport, and she, I said, hey. I said, yeah, I'm Jens, I'm the DJ, and blah, 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 I'm a producer. Oh, yeah, very nice. She was also not so old at that time. She was older, but not like she's now.
Right.
It was,
right.
So this was 30 years ago,
Yeah, still young enough to do what she does.
And then we took her to the studio, and she said, oh, I have written the lines already for the track, and we start. And then she started singing the first warming up, and she started rehearsing for when we put the track on, and she started, and I was like, oh God, I was lying on the floor like, wow, yeah. Crazy. It was amazing, and so that's how we to get to know Jocelyn Brown. This was the US copy with the remixes from E Smooth and Maurice
Joshua.
Yeah, Maurice's. It says Maurice. I don't know if Joshua was.
Yeah, Maurice Joshua. That's Maurice Joshua. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, at that time. So this was US pressing for that, and it was pretty nice, Yeah, so this was the story how I get a disco diva, and I asked her about it. She said, "Well, I already started in Woodstock, I said, "Really?" I said, "Yes, I started in Woodstock singing." I said, "Wow, crazy." And yes, then that was the time when I finished almost with house music. But at that time in 1990, I started, I was more, there was a music coming from Belgium. It was called New Beat. New Beat was a pre-techno music. We had house music. We had acid house with the Detroit stuff, which was really, I was really a fan of Derek May stuff and all these things. But I also loved the Chicago track stuff, what was coming there from Fortune and then all these guys, and what Chicago did was really cool for me too. And then also, I like also the New York kind of house music, like the Boy Jarvis stuff, what was coming on that side from Easy Street and all these things, Mafumbi and stuff. So, but I also loved, the new style from Belgium.
And that's what people really know you for. Like they know you where you're coming from now. The younger generation is gonna know this now. This time.
I think so. Yes. So
I know you from the other stuff. The other stuff. I know your techno background, but I know you from the other stuff. But I know the younger kids that were coming up will remember this stuff now.
Yeah. So then 1990 came, and because I was living here, I started to get to know my partner from that period, Ramon Zenka. With Ramon, I made a lot of tracks, and I went to the label which was based here near Cologne called BCM Records, and I was still producing in Hamburg, but I was based also. Then I had an apartment here down because I was DJing the weekends here, so I had my apartment here down also. And then I said to the label, "Hey, do you have a studio where I can work here? Do you know somebody?" Yeah, of course, yes. Here's a G&G studio and Karst, and this is near Düsseldorf, Cologne. And I went there. I said, "Hey, I like to do an acid EP or new beat EP." I say, "Yeah, we can do this together. Why not?" And you can already start with our how do you call this guy in English? The guy who is learning the studio work, a learner, a beginner.
Intern. The intern.
Yes. Yeah, and the meet Ramon. I say, "Okay, hi Ramon, I'm Jens. I'm a DJ here from the Königsburg." So yeah. He was just 18. He was looking like the guy from Depeche Mode, with his hair, like in the 80s, the 80s typical new wave hairs. And so, and then we started to doing some tracks, and we made 10 tracks, but they took only one. They made the house track called Two Time Boy, which is also very famous, but it's another story, because the a cappella was sampled a lot of times. And then I said, "Hey, I want to do a techno track, So, and then I was playing a lot of times the N. Clark, Sleep at Metropolis. and Clark has this typical synthesizer sound. And I said, okay, let's try to copy that a bit and do our own thing. And then I found this vocal from Lenny D, no, not Lenny D, the other guy. And the techno wave has grown. There's a style of his own.
Frankie Bones.
Frankie Bones, yeah. We sampled that techno wave has grown. And then the result was the first interactive, the techno wave, 1991, I think, or 1990. I think it's 1990 is, interactive, the techno wave. So that was the beginning of the project Interactive. Yeah, and the club, went crazy when we played this. We made a video, and at 12 o'clock, the screen came down, and the video we showed the video, and the people were dancing crazy to techno. They were on the speakers like, they were playing, dancing like this. Was really crazy. And then it went on and on. We made 2 or 3 interactive singles. Then 1991 came. Techno was getting bigger. We had the Love Parade 2 years ago, 1989 first, and 1990. I was there in 1991 the first time, and so Ramon, I stopped working in Hamburg. I said, Peter, sorry, but I'm moving constantly to Düsseldorf, and sorry, you have to find a new partner, but I can't drive to Hamburg all this time to producing, but I have so I started working with Ramon, and I said to Ramon, hey, we should do our own studio, not working all the time there, but then we have to then we have our own publishing and on composing and on everything, and it's more money for us. So and then we made production for several labels, independent labels, and also.
So this is a question now I have to ask, okay? Because we're learning about the younger generation has a lot of ways to learn about the music business. You said something interesting just now. We're going to have publishing, and we're going to make more money. How are you learning all this? To explain that to people.
Yeah, I can tell you, because Peter Harder, the one I showed you, he showed me from the beginning how the income works. He showed me that, as a composer, you get 30%. It's always the income from airplays from everything. It's not from the record from downloads or nowadays or back from the record copies. It's from when you get airplays. This is why the lifetime money. So 30% goes for the composer who's making the music. 30% goes to the writer who's making the lyrics from the production, and 40% goes to the publishing. The publishing, the most producers and DJs on producer, and nobody knows about publishing. But publishing is the most money. If you have text and composing and writing, it's 60%. But if you have to split, the publisher, all the big publishing companies or smaller publishers, they try to catch the producers and the artists. Hey, come to my publishing, and they say, oh wow, I'm with that and that publishing, but they really don't know what the publishing is doing. They take your money and they say, hello, yes, we have 40% now, and you can say I'm in your publishing. No, an advice for everybody's producer and who is listening now to me. What you got to do is do your own publishing. It's easy normally to make. You go to your company which is responsible for your country. In Germany, it's the GEMA. In America, it's the ASCAP.
Mm-hmm.
In Holland, it's the Stemra, and Italy is whatever.
SIE, Italy, all over. Yeah.
Yeah, every country has their own company who's collecting the money from airplays. So if you just do this, get the paperwork, what you have to fill out to do your own publishing, give your publishing a name, and then you're registered. So when you have a production and you sell it or sign it to a label, you have to send always writer, composer, that's you, and the publishing, that's also you. So you get 100% of the money. So otherwise, this money is lost. This money goes nowhere, because the companies, they only keep the money for you, and if there's not going nowhere, this money stays in-house somewhere. So there are millions and billions
of dollars of money
which is not paid out.
I know.
And there's another story with mechanical rights. This is another. This goes too far now. Just all you guys out there who do your own publishing, and maybe you have more. You have a big publisher then who wants to buy or your publishing
or administer
a 50-50 deal. That's then maybe you get 10,000 euros, which is a lot of money for you. But don't forget, from this money you gotta pay tax tax. Then it's maybe only 6,000. You have to pay 60, 40, 50% tax. So it's only the half of the money, and this money is gone. And after that, your 50% is lifetime gone. So the publishing money is lifetime. Every time your song is played, it gets money on your bank account. And if you're dead, it gets for your children, for everybody. It depends who owns. When you're dead, your rights, but do your own publishing. So that's the point now. So we coming back now to me and Ramon, and we went to America on tour. And I went to America for a new music seminar. I bought another 909. Came back to Ramon. I say, hey, I have a 909 now for us here, and then. We click on the 909, and then whoa, smoke out of the machine. Say, what the fuck? Yes, because
say it in German when you say that. Say exactly what would happen. How would you say it in German when you saw this?
Implodiert.
Yeah, explosion. Why?
Implosion. Yeah, because in the States you have 110 volts.
Oh, because the power.
Yes, and we have 220.
You plug in the one to.
Yes.
Burn the machine. Throw it in the garbage.
So that was the 909. So I had to go to repair the new transformator or whatever they put inside. Yeah, well, and then we I bought the SH-101 and 1 year ago, but I took it to the studio and we tried the SH-101. I said, hey, Ramon, let's test what the Roland SH-101 is doing. And I plugged it in into the mixer, and then I was trying to the sound, and I thought, wow. I said, wow, look the sound, saw bass line, wow. I said, what the fuck, this is cool. Just give me the beat, he made the beat on the 909. I was playing wow. So I made the first bars of the beat, and then we sampled the House of God loop, boom, 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 boom. And I said, yeah, now we need a vocal. Give me the mic. I said, who is Elvis? And I said, who is Elvis? Who is Elvis? Wow. So, and then all our record labels had already put productions from us, and I said, what the fuck, this is too underground for our labels that we work for. And I said, let's do our own label. I said, yeah, okay. I had an idea where we call it No Respect Records. Okay, that's cool. So then we started with
No Respect Phenomena.
No Respect Records. Phenomania. Who
is Elvis?
NRR001. This is the first pressing from So, and then we pressed 500 copies, and we went to a distribution, because I know all the distributors due to my bootlegs. So I know all these guys. I say, hey, we start a label now. When we made an exclusive deal with Discomania here in Germany, as it was one of the biggest distributors. So and then they took the 500 copies, and 3 days it was gone. They called, hey, the copies are sold out. We need another, do 1,000. So we pressed 1,000, and then 5 days gone, they called, hey, the copies are sold. We need another 2,000. I said, what the fuck? Okay, we pressed 2,000. 7 days gone. Hey, the record are gone. We need no more 2,000. So it went on, and then I came to my local store where I bought all my techno imports, and in the window there was the sign, "Who is Elvis sold out?" I said, "Whoa, crazy!"
Sold out, everyone. Sold out.
So we made 10,000. Then now we went to the label Dance Street. Dieter Stemmer. He was worked together with Zyx Records, but he was working as an A&R at BCM, which was the German. They signed the first Chicago stuff to Germany, and Dieter made his own label called Dance Street, and we were there. We signed Interactive with him, and we came there, and he said, "Hey Jens, Ramon, you have a new record out. It's called Who Is Elvis?" I said, yeah. This is gonna be a big monster hit. You need to do a cover version as Interactive. And we put it out. I said, what? No, we can't do this because we can't cover ourselves. This is Phenomania. This is our project. We can't do it now as Interactive. And yes, if you're not doing this, I let somebody else do it, and then you lose your hit. I said, Ramon, what the fuck, we really can't do this, because if we do this and other labels may just get to know that we cover ourselves, then the next time when we want to sign a track, they say, yeah, now you sign this with us. And the next week it comes on another label. We can't do this, Ramon. I said, but anyway, maybe we are going more into the underground, and then we make no major deals anymore. This might because techno is going big. I told Ramon, maybe we just do the label and get big with the label and do no more pop productions. This, we can make good money. The raves are starting. So what the fuck? And so okay, we decided then we cover ourselves as Interactive. Who Is Elvis? And the success was really, really big. It made 175,000 copies as singles, and with compilations maybe 2, 3, 4 million. Who Is Elvis? And we made it slightly different. We had a video and everything. Yes, this was the beginning of No Respect Records, and So now we come back to a theme called Bootlegs in 1992. Me and Ramon, it was a Love Parade, 1992. We made a bootleg called this one, Revolution, and the B-side was like Strings of Love. And it's not Strings of Life, Strings of Love. So we sampled Derek May and Strings of Life and put the Beatles on Love, Love, Love. And on the A side we say you want a revolution, and they made a techno track. And this
Two big problems, Beatles samples.
Yeah, so we made this, and then the thing was, before that, I signed my first deal as Jens Lissat to R&S Records. R&S?
JD Plastic Dreams.
Yes, R&S, and made my first solo Jens Lissat project. Energy Flow Eternal.
Oh wow! Nice.
The first one was Blue. This was the remixes. The first was Blue. So this was the first big hit on R&S Records, and we also did it on No Respect. This was the white label, which I still have on Energy Flow Eternal. Yes, and due to that, he asked us, because of this bootleg, hey, we need to do this as officially. I say, okay, let's do this. And then he invited us to Belgium, in Ghent, where R&S was, and he organized. Do you remember Stars on 45, right?
Yes.
And with the Beatles, and the guy in Holland who sang all the Stars on 45 Beatles songs, he booked this guy for our project. So we came into the studio and I said, hi, hello, I forgot the name. Hello, my name is, it was a gray-haired guy. I'm warming up my voice. I said, okay. And then he was sitting on the piano. Imagine there's no people. And I closed my eyes and I really thought John Lennon was sitting there. Really, this guy was so close. It was incredible.
Crazy, right?
So he sang, it was just a few vocals like love, 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 and say it was only 2 takes, it was 1 hour and then it was done, and we put it out officially on R&S Records, so made good money. So this was 1992, and then the next Interactive thing after Who Is Elvis on Interactive came. We made a song with our crazy singer. He was, we had a singer into Interactive now. It was our friend Marcus. And while we were on Who Is Elvis rave tours in the morning, when we came from the shows, he was always crazy, doing crazy voices. He said, dildo, dildo, dildo. I said, what are you talking, dildo? He said, yeah, dildo, 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 dildo. I said, what? And I say, come on, we better make a song called Dildo. So we made interactive Dildo. So, and this went into the German charts, but what was more further is this one was the biggest techno hit in Mexico in 1992. So they booked us for a Mexico tour in 1992. And, when we came to the concerts, that was crazy. I was not on stage with Interactive because I was always the DJ. I said to Ramon, you go on stage with Marcos, and I'm the DJ. So you can make money with the shows, with the band. I make the money with the DJs, and then we share the incomes from the record sales and everything. So so we came into Mexico and they had these big halls. It was like arenas. There were 5,000 people in this arena. For the first time in my life, I saw in the arena La Ola. In the arena, they were starting like La Ola, hey, through the whole arena. I said, what the fuck are they doing here? Esto es en La Ola. I say, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. So, and I first saw in my life, in the first row, they were using electroshockers to hold the crowd back from the stage. I said, hey, what is that?
That's crazy, right? Isn't that crazy?
They had to. He said, what? Looks like they could do electroshocks, and then we went into the Mexico tour, and that was really crazy.
Like bulls.
The people were crazy. They wanted to, we had two dancers, Marcos and Ramon on stage, but we had two blonde German girls as dancers. They were dressed like S&M, and really good dancers, and the people wanted to climb on stage. This was crazy things.
Oh my God!
Also on YouTube, you can see videos from Interactive Mexico. Yeah. Yes, and the time went on, and then the follow-up was something like Amok, and the B-side Coma was very big techno hits. We made project like this, E-Trax. We made several pseudos, with we had pseudos like this. And then one of my biggest tracks from techno was this, Jens Lissat, The Future. One of the biggest techno tracks, yes. That was the techno story so far with techno, and then techno went back a little bit. I went into trance things, and then came the 2000 came. I was starting with I had a new partner. Then I started to do electro kind of things, but not the kind of electro what you're doing today, or electro what was back then Miami hip hop. But the new electro sounds,
right,
with synthesizers. And then I met Voltax in 2003, and we started a DJ duo in 2005, Lissat and Voltax. We went quite popular in the kind of house music what we were doing. We had a lot of #1 tracks on Beatport, and we were on Two Room Artists. We were on Spinning Records. We were all on the big labels. And then 2011, the change came. 2011-12 with EDM, and we were thinking, we want to do EDM too, because many house DJs started doing EDM because this was where you get DJ bookings, and the house bookings went really, really down. So they booked no more house DJs because they wanted EDM, and the big festival started, everything started, and we did one or two EDM tracks, I think, and sold it to labels. But I hated to produce that. I was not EDM, I never. This was the music. This was not my kind of thing. So and then the years went on. To make it short, now 2015 came. And I quit with Voltax because there were no more DJ bookings. I had shows with my classic techno sets, but for Lissat and Voltax it was really tough, because the summer season house music, where we played all the years before, the clubs they booked, the resident played EDM, and once a month they booked a very big name, maybe if you're but in a medium EDM name. So this was also point, where Marcos said, I can't survive anymore, I need to do something else. And I started then 2011, I started Tactical Records, my first own label. Besides that, from the 90s, No Respect Records. Now I started again with a house label, Tactical Records, slightly building through the years. And 2013, 14 was really bad. So I said, well, makes it really sense to continue with that? But I tried to, I had some nice artists then. I started, building friendships with artists. The tactical went. And then in 2015, a guy from Holland sent me tracks. Hey, he said, hey, I'm Adri from Holland, and can I send you on the Facebook Messenger? Can I send you? Yeah, why not? And I signed the first Block and Crown to Tactical Records. And then, in 2018, I said to Audrey, hey, why don't we do a label together, And then we started to do the first label, Next Gen Records, together. And then we made another one. And then, meanwhile, we have 10 labels together. Audrey is very popular in funky house and new disco on Beatport. He's the biggest seller on Beatport, I think, in what the download sales mean. And he has aliases like Luca de Bonaire, whatever, And then my other partner in labels is Richard Gray, also famous house DJ. We do a label together. And I'm started doing also in 2013 or 14, I started doing a techno label because I came from techno also. Then I said, okay, I like to do techno also. Then I started at Studio 3000 Records. And then 2018, I started a tech house label, which is now turned into a progressive melodic techno label. I run about, let's say, 15 labels. I manage 5 other labels from other people and distribute them. And we are having a good position in the market. It's not so easy, but it's working,
Good.
It's what I'm doing today, So, yeah. And as I told you in the beginning of our show, as Jens Lissat, I'm techno act. And as Lissat, only my last name, I'm the one who's doing new disco and funky house.
Tell me this man doesn't have a lot of different genres under his belt.
Yeah. We talked already about 2 hours.
We're almost there for 2 hours. Yeah, no, you're doing very good.
We could extend it another 1 hour with a new school, what I'm doing with the label thing.
Let's show the picture. That's Jens today playing up into COVID, of course.
Yeah.
With Pioneer. So that goes to show you that, you know what? When you're talented, you have lasting power and good business sense. You must have good business sense and some talent. Yes.
Exactly. Talent is, and it's the passion also. What keeps me really doing this is the passion. The talent is also very important, but the passion, and combined with the talent. Yeah, it's my 41 years now behind the decks. I started 60. I'm 57 now. So I could go on forever, as long as I am healthy, So
right, that's the thing. That's the thing.
And the thing is about the disco thing. I told you already before we started this. I'm doing the biggest German disco party with my partner, once a year, and we will have you in the next 2 years, Lenny. We will have you as a guest on our disco party.
Love to.
The Trinity Revival parties.
The Trinity Revival.
Trinity Revival. If you search on YouTube for Trinity Hamburg parties, you find a lot of videos from the years where we posted YouTube videos, and there's a lot of things. It's really, really good. The people, they adore disco. It's only on vinyl, stuff from 77 till 1980. Nothing, no funk music, not 81 or something, just until 80.
That's nice.
Even Lime is too commercial for it.
No, to me, Lime is not really disco. Lime is dance music. That's after disco.
Yeah, and I was joking, but
you're right.
The real disco stuff. You can everything from Janice McClain. You can play everything, like Poussey. I love the Poussey and all these stuff.
Come on and do it.
Yes.
Do it. Chicky,
all this stuff. By the way, I can make a little. If some people like to check out what I'm doing with disco, I just last year when COVID started, I started a mix session and a radio session also. They are called disco kicks. And when I record my disco kicks shows, I always record 20 seconds videos and post them as shortcuts on Facebook groups like Studio 54 and Legendary, blah blah blah. I post, and if you go to Mixcloud/Lissat, you find house music shows, funky sessions with funky music from 81 till 85, and you find about 20 disco shows. I mixed already 50, but I online, because there are monthly broadcasts on radio, so that's why we are at number 20, at volume 20 now. But I have done a lot. This is really, really nice stuff to check out.
And still you have more to do. You still have more. You're still not finished. You still have more up your sleeve, don't you?
Yes, yes, of course, yeah. I will, yeah, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, no. Jens is retiring. No.
No.
Well, Jens, you know what?
I can stand and I can hear, you know. You don't need to see, but if you can hear and feel something, with a passion, you can present music to the audience.
Here's a question for you, Jens. Did you ever think going back, 17 or 18 years old when you started, did you ever think this would be a career for you, like a long career?
No.
Never, right?
No, I didn't thought about that, but I knew that I wanted to do this. And very early I found out I was doing my school things, and after school, I was not learning things for school. I was learning to mix or making music. So I very early found out, and when I was 17, that I'm gonna be a DJ. I was playing the biggest club in Hamburg when I wasn't even allowed at 17 years old. So I said, "Wow, what? I am in my home, in my home base where I wanted to be all the time. I'm the DJ now with here, and I play for people." This was.
See, that's a great feeling. You went from the kid, you went from the kid, in the school to the celebrity Hamburg DJ.
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
Yes, it is.
The first part.
I'm really happy about this life. What life brought to me. I'm really thankful for that. Really.
Jens is also a great producer. He's been doing a lot of ghost production too. He mentioned earlier to me. He's been doing a lot of stuff for a lot of people. So it's like, go Jens, go.
If somebody wants a ghost production, just don't hesitate to contact me over Facebook or whatever. I'm available for new disco, funky house, tech house, techno, and progressive melodic house. Yes. Yeah, you know where to find me.
Jens, you covered everything. Going back from this guy, look, from that young guy with the boots, all the way to this guy with the tattoos. Same guy, just smarter and older.
Yeah, thank you.
Jens, thank you so much, brother. You're the best. Amazing. Rafi D said, great show from Odyssey 2001. He was listening. They were all listening to the show. Great show.
All right.
See, now from one German legend, okay, now I'm going to bring another American legend next week. Ray Pinky Velasquez, Vanguard Records. Ray Pinky.
From Vanguard.
Yes. Ray Pinky Velasquez. Next Wednesday, right here on True House Stories. And also, everybody keeps saying to me, you got to bring more women on, Lenny. And I heard the request. And we're doing a special Sunday just to show the tribute. I'm bringing on the legendary Rowetta.
Whoa.
Rowetta is coming on. She's going to tell all. She's going to hold nothing back. She's going to be just like Jens, tell it all. Rowetta, big time, Happy Mondays, all those great big hits. She's got a lot to say. Jens?
Yes.
We want you to stay safe. You want to bring your dog on? Bring your dog on now and bring the dog if you want to show the dog to everybody.
The door is close to the living room.
Okay. Well, Jens, have a good Nacht into you.
Yeah, good Nacht.
Good Nacht and danke.
And thank you for being your guest. And maybe we should do in volume 2 then.
In 2040, in 2040, which is we will have Jens again and ask where he's up to now. From where we left off to now. But we will bring Jens back for sure. Thank you.
We organize a disco party in New York.
Definitely. Jens, thank you. Have a great night around the world, everyone.
Okay.
Jens, don't move. Everyone around the world, thank you again for tuning in to True House Stories. See you on the weekend and next week.